In this demonstration you learn how to create an Azure storage account in the Azure portal. Here I've opened the Azure portal that you find under portal.azure.com. Now I will switch my browser to full screen mode. To create a new storage account, you can click on Create a Resource in the navigation. Then you select Storage, and here you find Storage Account Blob File Table Queue. When you click on this, the plate to create a storage account opens up. Now let me show you another way how to get to this Create Storage Account plate. So I scroll to the left and I just close everything. Instead of clicking on Create a Resource, you can also click on All Services. And here you filter by storage. Here you can see storage accounts. Let's click on the little star to add storage accounts to my favorites. This will add storage accounts to the navigation at the bottom. Let's move it up here so that we don't have to scroll to access it. And now let's click on storage accounts in the navigation. This opens up the storage accounts plate that shows all the storage accounts that you have created. As you can see, there are no storage accounts to display because I haven't created any storage account yet. To create one, we can click here on Add. And this will open up the same Create Storage Account plate that you have seen before. Now let's actually create a storage account. The first thing you need to do is to enter a name. Let's call our storage account Wired Brain Coffee. This name has to be unique across Microsoft Azure. So in this case we were lucky and nobody else has chosen the name Wired Brain Coffee. Before we look at the other options you have here, let's see what you have to enter actually to create a storage account. When I scroll down you see everything is filled out except the resource group. You can create a new resource group or use an existing one. I just create a new resource group and I call this one Wired Brain Coffee -RS. And now you could already click on the Create button to create the storage account and you are done. But now let's look a bit more at the options you have. After the name you can select here the deployment model. You want to keep here Resource Manager. Then there is an account kind. You can see there are 3 different account kinds. As you can see, there are 2 general purpose accounts. These accounts give you access to all storage services, blobs, files, tables and queues. Version 2 has the latest features and everything that is in version 1. If you create a new general purpose account, it is recommended to use version 2. Beside the general purpose accounts, there is also a Blob Storage account. It supports only blobs. It does not have support for files, tables and queues. The general purpose version 2 account contains everything the Blob Storage account has, plus access to the other storage services, files, queues and tables. So let's select general purpose version 2, which is the most common option. You can hover here over the little eye and you can click on Learn More to learn more about the different account kinds. Next you can select a location. I keep West Europe here as I'm located in Europe. Then there is the replication strategy. The data of your storage account is always replicated to ensure durability. But here you can choose a replication strategy based on the fact how important your data is. The chosen strategy will affect the costs of your storage account. The cheapest replication strategy is local redundant storage. This strategy will create 3 copies of your data in the selected Azure data center, in my case West Europe. If a data center level disaster occurs, like for example fire or flooding, all copies of your data may be lost or unrecoverable. Zone redundant storage is the next level. It distributes your data across 2 or 3 data centers in the same region. This means your data is still there if a single data center is destroyed. But if the data centers of the whole region are destroyed, your data will be lost. The next level is geo-redundant storage, which creates 3 copies in the selected data center and another 3 copies in another data center that is located in a different region. But only in case of a failover, you can read the data from that second data center. If you want to be able to read your data permanently from both data centers, you should select Read Access Global Redundant Storage. This is the most expensive option and it is the recommended option for storage accounts used in production. But depending on how important your data is, you might want to select a cheaper replication strategy here. As local redundant storage is the strategy with the lowest costs, I will select this strategy for this course. Again, you can hover here over the eye and you can click on Learn More to find out more about the different replication strategies. Next, you can select the performance. There is Standard and Premium. Standard uses magnetic disks and Premium uses SSDs. But currently, Premium can only be used to store Azure Virtual Machine disks in Blob Storage. To store images, videos, documents or any other file type in Blob Storage, and to use other Azure storage services with your Azure Storage account, like files, tables and queues, Standard is the right option. So let's keep Standard. Then there is the default access tier. If you plan to access your blobs frequently, select Hot. With this access tier, the costs to access your blobs will be lower. If you plan to use Blob Storage for infrequently accessed data, select Cool. With Cool, the costs to store your data will be lower, but accessing the data is more expensive than with the Hot access tier. I will keep the Hot access tier here, but note that this is just the default value for your blobs. On a stored blob, you can still set the access tier individually to Hot, Cool, and even to Archive. The next option is Secure Transfer Required. As you know already, you can access the services and data of your storage account via a REST API. If this option here is disabled, you can use HTTPS and non-secure HTTP to call the REST API. If you enable this option, non-secure HTTP requests will be rejected. Only secure HTTPS requests will be allowed. Let's keep the default here to allow HTTP and HTTPS. Next, you select your Azure subscription and the resource group that we did already. We don't want to configure a virtual network, so let's click now the Create button to create this Wired Brain Coffee storage account. And now you can see the deployment of the storage account is in progress. As we are in a video, we don't have to wait for it. Now it is created. But actually, it took around half a minute to create the storage account. Now let's close the notifications and let's click here Refresh on the storage accounts plate. Here you can see the storage account and you can see also the storage account v2 kind that we have selected. Let's click on the storage account and now you are on the plate for this storage account. Let me collapse the navigation and you can see here the services, blobs, files, tables and queues. Also in the navigation of the storage account, you can see here blob service, file service, table service and queue service. Now let's click on blobs on the blob service and you can see that you can create here a container. Before we do this, let's talk a bit more about containers and blobs.